Hello, I'm Paul.
And I'm Scott.
And welcome to DC
I'm Proud.
Hello everyone, you're listening to a bonus episode. We've literally just finished our Martha v Martha season, where we tackled the Batman-Superman movie, World's Finest from 1997, Superman-Batman Public Enemies from 2009, Batman The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and Part 2, and then finally Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice 2016 Ultimate Edition. Wow. And as everyone knows, at the end of that film, the Trinity is finally, united.
Yeah, they're together.
So I thought, hey, we're doing a bonus episode. How about we unite our own Trinity and do a film about the Trinity themselves? And we can have, Wonder Woman. Obviously, that's Scott.
Yes.
Scott's always going to be Wonder Woman. I'm always going to be Batman. So that makes Neil from Get Your Comic On the Superman of the DC and Proud podcast. Hello, Neil. How are you? How do you feel about being Superman?
Oh, that's well. Do you know what? I'm actually wearing a Superman t-shirt, so that's kind of fitting today.
Oh, well, there you go then.
Yeah.
So
Normally, that would not
fitting.
necessarily be my go-to choice, but I will take it. That's fine. I will be the Superman of the day.
Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Neil. What do you do? And eventually, I will ask who your favourite hero is. Obviously, we all need to know that question now.
I feel like that might be quite well documented at this point, but you never know. Someone might not know. Me, oh no, I hate talking about me. So I am, I guess, a journalist and podcaster. I set up the website Get Your Comic On 11 years ago, which was just this random way for me to talk about what comic books I was reading, and it is now this juggernaut thing, which, people can go check out getyourcomiccon.co.uk. They can pick up the podcast on all major platforms. We talk about movies, comic books, TV, everything nerdy. And I get to do fun stuff like guest with you guys.
You've got some great stuff out there, Neil. I love looking at your wonderful content that you're posting.
It's been
And you get to go some great places, don't forget.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say, it's been a wild couple of weeks as well, between things like Alien and other fun stuff that I can't talk about that I am watching at the moment. Penguin!
Oh, yes.
I can't wait for
That
that.
I can't talk about.
Damn it. Well, I want to ask about Alien. What do you think about Alien? I haven't seen it yet. Scott's
Loved
seen
it.
but-
So good. So good. Yeah.
Very good, Scott.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Where are you ranking it, though, in like the Alien franchise?
It's not as good as Alien. It's probably in kind of like a middle of the pack, like upper middle of the pack for me. If
I
you're
think it's
including
fourth in line for me.
yeah, that sounds about right.
What's but obviously Alien and Aliens, but what's the third?
Resurrection.
Oh, okay.
I love that film.
Okay,
I don't
fair
know
enough.
why. Yeah.
Fair enough. I'm a big Prometheus fan.
I'm on the more philosophical side, so I was literally just going to say, yeah, Prometheus is in third spot for me.
I can dig that one. Yeah.
Prometheus is too clever for me.
Well, I kind of like that this one has a little bit of that philosophy in there. It's like it doesn't ignore it. It acknowledges it exists, but doesn't go so far down that rabbit hole that those who don't like it will be like, oh, God, no.
Oh, that's interesting.
More of the philosophy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
And I the face huggers running is terrifying.
It is absolutely,
It's absolutely
terrifying.
I've really got to see this film.
You really have.
Yeah.
You need to see it at the cinema as well, because I think the score for it is
Yeah.
just out of this world.
Oh, amazing.
Literally.
Literally.
My only kind of, I don't even want to call it a criticism, because there wasn't really anything in it that I didn't enjoy. I think my only thing with it, it feels like there's a really natural stopping point at like 90 minutes, and then it decides to do this whole other thing for the last half an hour that feels like it could have been a sequel, but they kind of cram it into the last half an hour, and they still do it well, but I'm like, that kind of was, it just feels like the next chapter of the story crammed into half an hour.
It felt like it had quite a few multiple endings, really.
Yeah.
And when I thought it was about to finish, oh, no. No, it's not.
There's more.
There's more.
It keeps on going.
You wait.
Oh,
You
yeah,
just
you
wait.
I can't bloody wait.
Yeah. Like,
Gross.
you can't even begin to describe it without getting into spoiler territory.
Oh,
Gross.
oh, now you're just exciting me. This sounds amazing. Come on, Neil. Tell us what your favourite hero is. Everyone on the DC and Proud podcast wants to hear it.
Oh, well, it has to be Batman. It has always been Batman
course.
for me,
Of
ever
course.
since I was little. I'm pretty sure it might have been my first word as a child, in fact. So I think the only thing that used to keep me quiet as a kid was sitting me in front of reruns of Batman 66. I was too young to see 89 and Returns in the cinema back when they were classed as a 15. So my first kind of cinematic Batman experience was Forever, which holds a little spot in my heart. And I even quite enjoy Batman and Robin, to be honest, as a bit of a guilty pleasure because I was still quite young when it came out. So it has always been and always will be Batman for me. And Bat Family. I mean, I love Nightwing. I love Batgirl. I'm a Barbara Gordon person when it comes to Batgirl. But yeah, Bat Family all the way.
I'm so glad you brought up Batman Forever as well because
You love Batman Forever.
I
You
love a
do.
bit of Batman Forever as well.
And I love Batman and Robin, so...
Hey, with the whole Batman back in the cinema kind of season that they've just announced for September, that Forever was the first thing I booked tickets to because I was just like, I have to see it again on the big screen.
Yeah, we got to get that Schumacher cut at some point, surely.
Yeah, that would be
Hopefully.
awesome.
Do you need it?
Yeah, we need it.
Yeah. It would be nice to see what his kind of pure vision was, even though it probably won't be hugely different than what we got. It just would be interesting to see how his mind was working when he was editing it.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I've got two more big questions for you before we get into our what we're reviewing today. My first is what... Just because we've literally just done an episode in it, what do you think about Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice?
Ooh.
Ultimate Edition.
Ultimate Edition, yes.
Ultimate Edition. I actually really like it.
You can stay.
I enjoyed the original cut. I do enjoy the original cut, but I think there are... one of my issues with Snyder is that I do feel like he struggles to tell a coherent narrative in a normal movie runtime.
Yeah, I can get that, yeah.
You only have to look at the fact that his director's cuts, whether they're better or not, they have a more kind of sensible narrative to them. So I feel like when you get the context of seeing Clark Kent going and investigating the Batman in Gotham in the Ultimate Edition, that just gives you a bit more to the fact that there was a rivalry between the two of them and that there was this weird conflict that was building before they actually fight, rather than it being a bit like, okay, there's a Batman, here's a Superman, they don't agree on shit, they're going to have a fight. So I enjoy it. I do, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with some of the Snyder stuff just because of how much trouble it caused in the fan base and still troubles people now. But
there's a lot of toxicity there.
Yeah, the way I look at it, though, if we'd had... It feels like what he actually invented was a really good, Injustice universe. And I keep, whenever I end up in a conversation with someone about it, I'm always like, just picture this. Imagine Snyderverse never happened and the gun thing happened first. And you got this really pure comic book version of the DC universe and it becomes successful. Imagine that Warner Brothers then goes, we're going to bring in this Zack Snyder guy and we're going to do this weird, dark, Elseworlds Injustice version of the DC universe. I think people would eat it up and it would be...
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
A lot more popular and probably a lot more successful than it actually was. I just think it happened at the wrong time, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's just this inherent kind of rejection of anything when you've just had Dark Knight and all these amazing films before it. It's like you're always going to look down on it, really.
Yeah, it's like anything that came after Batman the Animated Series, the Batman 2004 animated series, I think is brilliant. It's not beat as brilliant, but it's definitely underrated because at the time everyone was like, well, it's not beat as, is it?
Yeah, of course. Yes. And lastly, I want to know what your favourite DC film is. It could be anything. But I want to know what your favourite is.
Gut reaction is almost always to go to Batman Returns. So
Great
Batman
choice.
Returns, I think, is crazy gothic fairy tale that I just eat up every single second of it. I always say to anyone that ends up having to sit next to me when watching it, I just have to apologise because, when you end up sat next to someone that's seen a film so many times that they do the dialogue.
I do that with Titanic.
So with Batman Returns, I hum along to the entire of the score.
That's because the score is amazing. That's why.
Yeah. And I know Danny Elfman talks about how he feels like it overpowers the film slightly, but I just think everything about that is just this crazy gothic melodrama that does these crazy versions of Penguin and Catwoman. Everything about it is just perfection to me. So it has to be Batman Returns.
That's beautiful.
Great choice.
Yeah. Scott's happy with that one. That's your favourite one, isn't it? Is that your favourite of the four?
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Good
thought
taste.
I thought that was it. Yeah, exactly. Right, everyone. Today we've got Neil here because we're going to cover the Justice League Warworld film from 2023. So let me give you a little info about it before we kick this off. It is directed by Jeff Wamister. Would you say Wamister? Yeah.
Wamister.
Jeff Wamister. Yeah. And it's got a plot description of, until now, the Justice League has been a loose association of superpowered individuals, but when they are swept away to Warworld, a place of unending, brutal, gladiatorial combat, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and the others must somehow unite to form an unbeatable resistance, able to lead an entire planet to freedom. It stars Jensen Ackles as Batman, Darren Criss as Superman, Stana Katic as Wonder Woman, Ike Mahdi as Martian Manhunter, Troy Baker, big Troy Baker, look, Jonah Hex, wonderful stuff. Matt Bomber's in it.
I know. Random.
Yeah. Oh, he's where does he appear in it? It says old man.
Yeah.
Isn't that in...
Oh, it's when he appears. Yeah. He's like that. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah. And I think that's all we need to say.
Yeah.
We don't need to say any more people. Scott, you got any trivia about this film?
Not a lot. Not a lot. It's the 10th installment in the Justice League Tomorrowverse series.
Lovely.
And Grover's Mill, the site of the black and white story with an alien landing, is also the name of the New Jersey town where the infamous 1938 broadcast of War of the Worlds claimed Martians landed.
There you go.
That is all I've got.
That's enough. We're happy with
That's
that. Neil, let's ask you first. I'm guessing you just saw this when it first came out. Any kind of special experience you had alongside this, or it's just you just watched it?
So this was one of the ones I got really lucky to do interviews for.
Oh, lovely.
And not just... So normally when we get the opportunity to do interviews on these movies, because obviously I am very much based in London and not LA, we do telephone interviews, much like the way you and I are talking right now.
Of course.
But Justice League Warworld premiered at San Diego Comic-Con last year. And I was there. So I was actually physically in the room talking to people about it. So I got to interview Jeff Wamister. I also spoke to Jim Krieg, who's producer, and I spoke to all three of the writers. Two of the writers. Josie Campbell wasn't there. So I spoke to Jeremy Adams and Ernie Altbacker, which was really, really cool. So I'd seen it already before I went out. And then what they do at San Diego Comic-Con for the animated movies, when there's one that's kind of timed for release, they do a big premiere in one of the big... it's not in Hall H, but it's basically in the second biggest room at the convention centre. They do a big screening and panel and stuff for it. So I got to see all of that, see them do a presentation for it, watch the film with an audience, and then interview the crew behind it, which was really, really good fun.
That is wicked. That's lovely stuff. Great stuff. I don't have any kind of experience like that, Neil.
Sorry.
I just watched it on stream, and I'm guessing, Scott, you've never watched it before.
I have not, no.
No. So, that's our history, and pretty wonderful history from Neil there. I think the best way to tackle this film is if we just tackle it in 4 segments.
Yep.
We're not going to go too in-depth about each individual story beat, but I think there's a distinctive Wonder Woman section, there's a distinctive Superman section, a distinctive Batman section, and then just how it all kind of ties up in the end, basically. So... let's start with the Wonder Woman. And Scott, as the biggest Wonder Woman fan, what did you think of this?
Loved it.
Man, I think
she looks incredible.
Yeah.
She does look incredible.
I also want to say, right, shall we, as we go along, rank where this is in the 3 parts? I mean, I feel like there's no point ranking the 4th part, but which of the 3 kind of sequences you like best? What do you think, Scott?
This is second.
Second? I would say this is also second. How about you, Neil?
Oh, yeah, I think second for me as well.
Yeah.
I think I know what's number 1, to be honest.
It's just so lovely to be in this. I mean, I love a Western anyway.
I love a Western, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, to have Diana in this kind of reality is a hell of a lot of fun. And then to have Jonah Hex there as well, it's just pretty great. What do you think, Neil?
Yeah, I think... So something... Not that it's particularly important, but something I had forgotten until I rewatched it today was how you... don't get any setup for it whatsoever. You are literally
you're just thrown into it.
Yeah, which means that if you're watching this for the first time, you're probably thinking, what? This is a little confusing because you get there's the stinger in the movie before this where you see Batman and Superman being swept away.
Yeah,
it was the post-credit scene in the previous film, but it didn't really allude to anything. So I love how you get dropped in to this absolutely crazy version of the DCU that you're not necessarily going to recognise and have no idea what's going on.
I'm really wrapped up in this kind of mystery, and trying to really unpick what is actually going on, and there's the slight little like looks to camera like, I don't know what my name is right now.
Yeah.
It's like, what is actually going on? And unpicking that it's a pretty fun little ride.
I didn't actually realise that I needed a Wild West DC film, to be honest.
Oh, it'd be great.
'Cause
Wouldn't
I
that be
would actually
great?
love that.
Live
I think
action.
that'd be great.
And yeah, I think Wonder Woman would suit that as well.
I think she would, because I love the outfit. I thought it was great.
Or just Batman in a duster from the Nightmare. Like, well, that'd be fucking awesome. But it's lovely seeing Jonah Hex as well. It's like, especially like, we don't see him that much in like a animated film, so it's pretty cool. So the thing is, right, I was trying to work out, is there some kind of thing surrounding each kind of segment? Because when it comes to the Superman segment, it's like, okay, Superman's placed here and he's hunting an alien in the room, right? And there's an alien somewhere, and it's clearly like, oh, but you're the alien in real life. So it's almost like a play on his kind of reality.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, does that play for all of them? Is it something to do with Wonder Woman being placed in like a man's world, kind of like a Western brute kind of world? Is that what they're trying to do? But I was just wondering if you picked up on anything like that.
Ooh, yeah. It's there's almost like a kind of build where Wonder Woman seems the most unaware that anything is happening. And of her connection to who she really is. And then you get a little bit in Batman, because there's the dialogue where he talks about how the night is very important, and there's lots of little nods to him almost figuring something out. And then obviously, spoiler alert, characters begin to mix towards the end of his section, and then you go into the Superman section, and it seems like there's almost an awareness that there's something going on that they're trying to break out of. So the way I always interpreted it was kind of a building awareness that there's something not quite right that leads them to the realization of who they are and what's going on.
Yeah. It is pretty fun though, isn't it? That's just a cool little concept.
I like the idea of them having a different writer for each one of the sections as well, because you then get a really distinct flavour between them.
Oh, I didn't even realise that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so the Wonder Woman section was written by Ernie Altbacker. Then you go into Batman, which was Jeremy Adams, and then Josie Campbell wrote the Superman section. I actually then don't know who did the final bit, but yeah, each section was written by a different writer because they wanted to give it a completely different flavour and have someone's like a different voice behind each section of it.
That's pretty fun.
It's really clever, actually.
Yeah,
really, really
it's a
clever.
fun idea. Yeah, for sure. Any like distinct things that you absolutely love about this segment that you took away from?
I mean, firstly, I love the fact that Wonder Woman just picks up a track and moves it so the train can just go straight into that. I was like, what does she do? Oh, right, okay, nice.
Awesome.
I just like the brutality of it, and I think because Wonder Woman exists in this time where men were very misogynistic, and obviously she says no. They go to attack her and she kicks ass. I just love that setting around it, and I think that's like seeing a strong woman in that kind of era and setting is really good. It's a good contrast to what you're used to.
Yeah. Have you seen The Quick and the Dead?
No.
It feels very much like that. I love that. Who is it? Kim Basinger? No. Who's in that film? Sharon Stone. It's Sharon Stone, not Kim Basinger. That's a great film. I think you'd really like that film, Scott. Okay. Sam Raimi as well.
Oh, okay.
And a young Leo as well. But I just really love the pastiching of like classic Western tropes, and like the pocket watch, and it's playing like the music. I can't remember exactly. Is it in Once Upon a Time in the West? I can't remember where the pocket watch is that opens with the music, but it's just really wonderful. And yeah, the brutality of it, and one of them was just literally headshotting people.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does not hold back, which is great.
No, she does not hold back at all. Any favourite moments for you, Neil, in this?
Scott said it really well. Yeah, the brutality of it is great because you just kind of don't see it coming. Even though these movies aren't exactly sort of completely family orientated, I feel like this one goes really hard and it just works well.
Definitely.
I feel like when things are that bad around her, it gives her more of a chance to show who she is and her sort of conviction and her strengths, which plays really well into who Wonder Woman is as a character. So I think it ends up, despite being almost unrecognisable, ends up being a really great way to say who she is and what she stands for.
Yeah, absolutely. And I bloody love when she goes into that like saloon in the first initial scene, and she reaches like as if she's going to reach for a gun, and she fucking reaches for the lasso.
Lasso.
Man. It's fucking great. Great stuff.
Also, like in the beating of Jonah, she
Yeah.
really goes to
She
town.
goes
on
for
him.
it.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
It's like not holding back at all.
Proper bloodied face at the end. Does not hold back at all. And it's interesting to see like Jonah as the villain in this almost. And that's what they kind of do. They've almost, I'm guessing that's what they've done. They've trapped people in this world, haven't they? And they've almost given them
characters
a
and
new
stuff like that.
narrative.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, and they think that is their reality.
It's kind of like Westworld.
Yeah, it is very much like there is
Yeah.
hints of Westworld, especially when at the end they show that they've cloned all these people, and it's like
Yeah.
and they just put them in, they're like recycling them, and it's very much Westworld vibes as well.
Great show.
Awesome. Okay, well, anything else you want to say about this before we move on to the Batman segment?
Ready for Batman?
Yeah, bring on Batman.
Bring on Batman. Where are we ranking this?
Number 3 for me.
Number 3 for me.
I'm going to surprise you, and I'm going to say it's number 3 for me too, actually.
Oh.
It's good to see we're all on the same page. Anyway, that's good. It's very much like a Conan kind of
Yeah. Conan the
vibe.
Barbarian and
Yeah.
like just
Yeah.
Batman looking all hench with his
Yeah.
top off.
Coming to Scott Harris is pretty cool. You know, seeing Warlord, Travis Morgan. It's I just think Batman, he does very much suit this kind of realm.
Yeah, he does.
It works for me.
I agree.
That doesn't look like you agreed, Scott, the way that face you did.
Because I agree, but then I was like, I just remembered the dinosaurs and stuff like that, and I was like, I don't like to mesh that much.
Oh, Scott Harris, man, it's like you got to expect those dinosaurs. You digging this world, Neil?
Yeah, it's cool. It kind of reminds me in a way of when they used to do crazy Elseworlds DC toys when I was a kid, and you'd get like TV adverts with hundreds of action figures that would be like Barbarian Batman, Pirate Batman.
Cool.
And I used to just eat that shit up as a kid. So it's really cool to see
They
him
advertised it well.
in this. Yes, they absolutely did. It's cool to see him in that world, but them to still give it a lot of DC context. So it's not just here's Batman, he's a barbarian, but yeah, like having Warlord and stuff in there, and then bringing in Diana towards the end of it. I think it's cool. It's a nice little kind of lifting of the veil as well to say, okay, he's somewhat aware of what's going on, but he's still convicted to fighting evil in this world and saving himself. It's awesome. I mean, I, even though I say I would rank it third, there isn't a section of this that I don't enjoy.
Yeah. There's still like I feel like he has forgotten. Like obviously he has forgotten who he is, but he's also forgotten his morals a little bit, because he's not like this. He's this ruthless Batman. He doesn't really care if you're innocent or guilty. He's just kind of fine in his own way.
He wants his money.
He wants his money.
He wants his money.
He wants his money in this. More than anything, he doesn't care about his wealth in the real world, but you know, in here, he wants his money.
If you've ever read The Return of Bruce Wayne, so I'm going to forget the year now, but when they briefly killed off Bruce Wayne in the main continuity, when Dick Grayson became Batman and was with Damian, they did the whole death and return of Bruce Wayne, which was where his consciousness actually got sent back to a barbarian type era. So that it takes some inspiration from that storyline as well from the comics, which is interesting.
Oh, wicked! I've never actually read that. That's pretty interesting.
Add it to the list.
Yeah, add it to the list. There's some great iconography as well in this. There's a moment where I think they're around a campfire, and Batman's leaning back, and like the shadow is cast in his face. And it looks like the cowl. It's so cool. It's very
And
good
he's got
design.
the gauntlets as well. The spikes are on the
Yes.
gauntlets that he wears, just as a tiny little nod. And there's a little, I've got a picture of it in front of me. He's got a little bat kind of shape as well, almost on the belt. There's just enough in there that you're like, oh yeah, I know who this is.
It's like a big old belt buckle he's got. Like a bat.
Yeah.
But I even like the subtleness of the fire with the Joker inside and in his eye,
Yes.
and you can hear the Joker laughing in the background,
Yes.
and
This is like little like
his face is spinning, and
he gets little visions of like, oh, what is? Because he starts talking about it, doesn't he? He says, I've seen a jester, I've
Yeah.
seen men of ice, a woman more cat than woman. kind
yeah.
of thing.
I wonder who they're talking about.
Who could that be?
It's all fun though, isn't it? It's just a lot of fun when it's just like hinting towards the wonderful world we know.
I have to say that the whole evil at the end of this segment turning into the Cobra, I just thought of Jafar
Yes,
straight away.
absolutely, bloody lootly.
I was like, if he turns into a snake, that is exactly who I think it is. I was like, I knew it.
Any standout things for you in this, Neil?
Same, I think. Yeah, it does go quite wild towards the end. I don't know. It's so difficult to define because it's so different to anything that you've seen before. But it's just a world I would like to go back to and see more of. Actually.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I do like the fact he knocks his mask off and goes, "Oh, ugly one, aren't you?" I was like, that's a bit harsh. Not a look at yourself, mate. So
it's fucking wonderful, isn't it? And just like it does go so wild in the end, isn't it? Because especially when the dinosaurs start getting introduced, and then it's like the Minotaur suddenly comes in like a labyrinth, and it's like, what's going on? This feels like Wonder Woman. This isn't Batman.
And you do get. Is it during this section that you get the little tiny, just a tiny snippet of Flash as well, which then is what circled back to in the first part of Crisis, with you see it from kind of Flash's angle where he's being sent through the multiverse as well.
should see Paul's face right now.
I'm trying to think, what bit are you talking about? You see the Flash? Do we see the Flash?
I was watching it with you and I didn't notice.
So there's a scene in the first part of the Crisis movie that obviously comes next where Flash is being sent through the multiverse and you see him appear to Barbarian Batman, and I think there is a hint of that in this as well. I could be wrong, which is terrible considering I just rewatched it.
I'm doubting myself now.
There is like a narrative connection between how Matt Bomer sort of figures into this and what is happening in Crisis as well.
Who's he playing in Crisis?
Flash. So he's the Flash. He was the Flash of this universe.
Oh, right. Okay, now I know. Right, I forgot that old man was supposed to be. Right, okay, now I know exactly what you're talking about. Right, okay, I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you.
It's all connected.
I was thinking that fucking Barry Allen's just appearing in the world. I was like, I don't remember seeing the Flash.
So I think he is Barry Allen when you see him in Crisis.
Yes.
See this world. I just can't quite remember how it is that he appears in this film in that same context.
Yes. It's just like some old man. He's like hovering in the sea or something.
That's it. Yeah. And so when you see that from the other end, it's him as the Flash being sent back using the cosmic treadmill.
Right. There we go. Okay. We're on the same page now. I know exactly where you are. Yes. There we go.
Hey.
And and then we get all these like going through. It's like Indiana Jones going through like these like all these traps. And it's actually, you think it's some sort of magic, like, but it's actually just, it's electric. It's just like, Batman knows, he knows how to disable this thing. And it's all, it's pretty fun. It's great stuff. I like the fact that in this world, you have this magical magician who's Deimos, and his magic wand is a gun.
Is a gun.
Yeah. And then it just links so well to like Batman who hates guns. And then he even has a brief moment and he's like, huh. He's like, when he's got the gun, he's like, I don't like using guns. It's like, what's going on? So yeah, I do like those little inflections of
their character,
the world we know, and the characterizations we know. It's pretty fun. Come on then, let's move on to the best one. I'm guessing because we're all
number one.
We're all number one.
Yeah.
The Superman X-Files mystery.
The atmosphere, the music, everything about it is brilliant.
Yeah,
it's absolutely stellar. I love it.
Yeah,
it's absolutely brilliant.
Just a
creepy, eerie. I could watch a whole film of that. 100%.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
The tone of it all. What do you think, Neil?
Yeah, I have to agree. It's so atmospheric, and I think it's interesting how this animation plays in black and white as well. Because I think when you talk to people about Tomorrowverse, the big thing that people tend to talk about is, I don't like the animation style compared to the previous version. And obviously, you do have very well defined, thick black lines and the character designs, and it is quite flat in comparison to certain other types of animation, but it plays so well in black and white.
It works.
There is something really filmic about particularly this film in comparison to others, but in this section it plays really well.
Yeah, and it's cool that it even has a reasoning for being there. The fact that it means that Superman can't get the sun. It's like because it's all black and white. It's just pretty clever and fun. It feels like that. It's like part the thing. I like the fact that it's all in like this diner, and it's all in like everyone's suspicious, and it's like you don't know who to trust, and it's really fun. It just taps into that kind of that old timey like spooks and stuff. That kind of era of films, and it
kind of reminded me of the live action movie Legion.
Okay,
because that's set in a diner. And that's all about conspiracy and stuff like that. And it was But this is done better.
Yes, yeah.
You know what? When it went into colour, I didn't even notice.
Oh, didn't you?
I was like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, them all getting introduced, and like Batman's like the highway patrol, and just them realizing like something's off, like something's happening here. We're not supposed to be here.
Us three are the only ones that can hear this music.
Yeah. And it's the same music that's from the Pocket Watch.
Yeah.
In the Wonder Woman segment. It's just it's really
It's just
fun.
so cleverly done.
Yeah.
Really, really cleverly done.
It
Just
also
little
feels a
hints.
bit like Warworld is... It's almost like as they're starting to figure out that there's something going on, particularly when they've managed to somehow find their way to each other, even when they don't know who each other is and what their relationship is. It feels like Warworld is then reacting to that and panicking that they're about to uncover it all, and it's kind of getting more and more extreme, fighting
that's true.
back to make them forget and almost convince them that this is just the world that they're in right now. It feels like it's pushing back, which is interesting as well.
Yeah,
But just
sure.
even like all the people when they start to turn on Diana in the diner and stuff, and it's their faces, they all turn quite creepy and like really
Sinister.
yeah sinister.
But it almost makes you think of like the Matrix, where it's like you're in this like this made up world, and the program's almost turning against them.
Yeah.
And then it's literally every character starts hunting them down wherever they are, just to try to get them back into line. It's a lot of fun.
I enjoyed the segment, the scenes with the pods and the aliens, because they actually remind me of the aliens from Scooby-Doo.
What, the film?
Yeah. Not fully, but only a little bit. And I couldn't stop laughing the entire time. And it's just...
You love Scooby-Doo.
I do love Scooby-Doo, yeah.
Do you love Scooby-Doo, Neil?
I absolutely adore it.
Thank you. See, you're on your own, Paul. You're on your own.
I haven't seen it so long. I used to watch it when I was a kid.
Sarah Michelle Gellar is life. Thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
But just like the chase scene and stuff like that, it's just so rounded and so well done, and I just really enjoyed it.
and you keep thinking as well on that moment where he throws what does he throw, a gas canister out the window?
No, he has one shot to shoot something, doesn't he?
And I keep thinking he's just going to use his laser vision now. He don't.
Oh,
He
yeah.
doesn't. No, he doesn't.
It is a hell of a lot of fun. Yeah, it just goes into chaos coming towards into the next segment, which is a lot of fun. And right, so we're getting on to the next segment, right? Unless there's anything else you want to say about this one.
I'm good.
Oh, I was just going to say, so this was Josie Campbell, and I do feel like she has a really great grasp on Superman because she's the executive producer on My Adventures with Superman, the animated series.
I still need to watch.
And
I haven't started.
she's been writing the comic book that's based between season 1 and 2 as well, and I do feel like she has a really great grasp on the kind of core of the character, and I feel like you can see that here in that she understands him so well that she can almost put him in any scenario and you'll still recognize who he is and those qualities that make him Superman, even when he's buried in just the weirdest, most like strange black and white X-Files universe.
I absolutely agree. He does feel like this kind of naive country boy in a way.
Yeah,
like
it's still so recognizable.
Yeah, really sweet. He feels there's no kind of malice in him whatsoever. Yeah, it's really good to see. So yes, we move on to it turns into colour, and we confront this alien who doesn't look like the other aliens.
He does not,
and which leads us on to the final kind of tying up of everything that is happening. And how do we feel about this ending?
How do I feel about this ending? I feel like it loses itself a little bit. I feel like it kind of tries to balance between them figuring out who they are to each other, which gets a little bit confusing because it's a different Superman. Well, I think it's our Superman from Man of Tomorrow, and I do think it's our Batman from the Long Halloween, but then it's not the Wonder Woman that we met in the Justice League World War II. It's a different Wonder Woman, and I get a bit lost with who is supposed to be who at what point.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
And then it gets wrapped up in them trying to escape and break out, so you get into the big fight, which then looks great, but sort of distracts from the character bit, and then you get to the ending that suddenly makes you go, oh, okay, we're doing this whole crisis thing next. So I feel like it gets a little bit lost towards the end, but not in it doesn't go completely off the rails. It's just there's a lot happening in those last few minutes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I feel like it feels a little bit slapdash. Like we have this. It introduces Martian Manhunter and how it's all kind of been coming from his mind and manipulating everything, and then it's introducing Lobo, and then it's and then it's like, where is this going now? And then it's just so much is going on. Yeah, and then Mongol comes, and it's like, what is going on now? And then it all just feels like we're just on the road just to introducing that Crisis is coming, and it's like, well, how about just wait a minute, this kind of wrap up this story first in an interesting way before just jumping just because you want to get to Crisis. That's what it kind of feels like to me.
It does feel quite rushed.
Yeah. In a weird
Totally
way, but
agree.
it doesn't feel rushed, but it's like, it's rushed, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't work it out. It's just something I don't really
Like
enjoy about it.
cramming so much in, but also, shit, we need to get the story finished so we can carry on.
Yes, exactly that. That's it, yeah.
There's a lot of conversation out there where some people feel like this was their last chance to do Crisis before DC Studios takes over.
Yeah.
And
Right, fair enough.
was this the plan? Was this not the plan? Were they always going to do it this way? From times when I've spoken and done interviews with the creators behind all this, they say this was always the plan. It was always this many movies. It was always leading to Crisis. Crisis was always a 3-part thing. But there are lots of people who will argue until they are blue in the face that it was a case of they got to kind of this point in production, they found out that this is when Gunn's coming in, and Gunn's like, well, we're going to do our own thing, and you need to figure out how to finish this and finish it fast. So I don't know, you could, we'll never know for sure, but it definitely feels like Crisis comes out of nowhere right at the end of this film.
Yeah, they just wanted to do a big kind of a reason to kind of switch to a different kind of universe, I guess. And because Tomorrowverse, it didn't last very long, did it? Like, how many films are it in the end? Like, I can't remember, like 7?
Is it? I think it's is it 9 with the 3-part of Crisis? So it's Man of Tomorrow, 2-part Long Halloween, World War II, Green Lantern, Beware My Power. Then you get, is there something? The Supergirl, Legion of Tomorrow. Then you get Warworld. So it's 10. So it's 10 movies, I think. From Superman, Man of Tomorrow
You're
through
exactly
to
right.
Crisis.
You're exactly right. I had my list up and I was like, let's let this guy roll. Let's see if he can name every single one.
I promise you that
Also-
was purely off the top of my head.
This was one of my facts at the beginning, so
We didn't listen to him.
clearly. Rude.
Sorry.
So rude.
Even like the stuff of they need the key for Warworld for it to become a weapon, and it's like, oh, but we need Martian Manhunter plus another white race of Martians, and they're going to combine for a key. And it was like, what is going on? There's just so many elements here that have just been flung at the wall.
There are a lot of elements. It's almost like to the idea of Warworld is like it's not exactly that far removed from what it would be in the comics, but to try and introduce that whole concept in just the final sort of 15-20 minutes of the film, you almost kind of want to, I don't know, if you wanted to do this whole they don't know who they are or where they are, you could have almost done that with the I'm going to completely forget what they were called, but the weird like tentacly flowery type things that attach to Superman's chest that in classic storylines that make him have visions and stuff like that. There are other methods in the DC universe of having people kind of have these weird shared hallucinations that you could have used that wouldn't have taken as much time to introduce as then trying to say, okay, cool, so you've just spent like 45-50 minutes watching them go through these cool stories. Now we're going to tell you about Warworld, we're going to tell you about Martian Manhunter, we're going to tell you about Mongol, and then we're going to introduce the idea of Crisis and introduce the multiverse, which hasn't really been a thing yet, other than Flash in World War II, but that doesn't feel like a multiverse thing. That feels like a time travel thing. So there's just,
for sure.
You are completely right. It's just a few too many elements to try and get people to understand in that space of time, especially if you're hoping that not just diehard fans are going to watch these films.
That's for sure.
Yeah, you want everyone to watch it, don't you? It's trying to appeal to as many people as it can.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is as well that when I watched this twice. So this time I watched it, I was like, oh, I remember the sting that's in the post-credit scene when it's like, oh, this is Crisis, and I was like, wait a minute, it's in the film? This is to confuse the hell out of people. It's not even like a play to what's coming next. It's like, this is the film. This is what it is, guys. It just ends like this. It's like, Jesus, this is like half a story. We don't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
But yes, it's a...
I do love the bit with the suits dropping. And
oh, yeah. And they're
do
all
you ever
banging.
think
That's cool.
Do you ever think any of them think, I hope that middle one's not mine?
Yeah.
Picture Clark Kent putting on the Wonder Woman outfit.
It was a cool Wonder Woman outfit, though. I really like the way they designed
Yeah,
it.
it is really, really good.
Yeah, it's nice.
We've talked about Wonder Woman a lot and how there's some animation styles where it's completely sexualized.
Yeah, this isn't. It's.
And it's not, no, 100% not.
You mean you've talked about Wonder Woman quite a bit? That doesn't seem like you. That seems so out of character.
Don't really talk about Neil.
He made sure we did a whole season of very, like, as soon as we started the podcast. But yes, that's pretty much Warworld. Unless there's anything anyone else wants to say about it before we go to our final thoughts.
I think we should rate.
Yeah. Go on, Neil. As you're the guest, what order would you like to give our last impressions in?
Just save me till last, because I need to think about this.
Okay. Scott, what do you...
I knew you were going to be first.
No. I'm saying, asking you want me to go first?
No, I don't mind.
Okay.
I enjoyed some segments more than the other.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was the best that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
But there are bits that I did enjoy. So I'm going to give it a 6.
Okay. That's fair. I can see that. I'm not actually not far off you. I really do think that, like, the otherworldly elements are really fun. But then because you have this tacked on ending that's a bit sloppy, a bit messy, a bit overwhelming about what's going on, it kind of does, like, take the sting of everything out a bit. So
Can I guess your score?
go on.
Is it 7?
It goes down to a 7. Yeah, It is a 7 out of 10
Knew it.
from me. How about you, Neil?
So I gave this 3.5 on Letterboxd. I was just looking back at my actual review, and I gave it 4, which would be an 8 out of 10, I suppose. So, but I think arguably it would be a 7 for me.
Okay.
Oh, fabulous, Neil.
That's good. Well, that gives it an average of a 6.66, so it takes to a 6.7. And
Oh, don't tell me it's got to battle someone.
We've never had anything. We've never had anything that's been on a 6.7 before, so that helps. I can tell you where it places, and it places with the new original Wonder Woman, the pilot,
yeah,
just above it on a 7, and just below it. Now, Neil,
Oh no!
you're
I think I know
gonna
what
maybe
say.
chastise us. You're gonna chastise us for this because everyone has so much love for this film, but me and Scott,
know what
we
you're gonna
think it's
say.
just fine. Go on. What do you think we're gonna say?
You're going to say Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah, it's Mask of the... It is. I even sounded northern then. I said Mask. I said Mask of the Phantasm. I got you, both of you in my ears. I'm saying Mask of the Phantasm rather than Mask. There we
That's
go.
because you're right. It is mask. There's no R in it.
It is just below it. Yes. Are you a big fan of that film?
He loves
Neil?
this film.
Yeah, I do love this film, and I'm very excited because I'm going to finally get to see it on the big screen for the first time
wicked.
next month.
That'd be nice.
But no, I totally get it. I think it's sort of it's a film that I think people of that era, if you were around at the time it was releasing, it was just like oh my god, this is incredible. This is what you can do with Batman on film. I kind of feel like maybe if you weren't there and swept up in it at the moment when it was a big thing, it maybe doesn't quite have the reverence.
Yeah. And just I mean, I watched all, like, the Batman animated series, right? And I love that. And I don't know, I just don't like all the Batman with a running after a girlfriend, and it's like, it just doesn't interest me, that kind of stuff. And it's like, and I don't think her as the Phantasm is a good, like, a fun twist. It's like, it just seems obvious to me.
I think the other thing with it is it never really got properly released here. It just came straight to video, where it was actually theatrical in the US. It was only theatrical briefly, but it was enough that it became a bit of a moment for Bat fans in the US. Whereas, here you kind of had to seek it out. So
Yeah.
it just doesn't quite land the same way, I think, with audiences.
Yeah. But that's fair. I understand why you have love. Most people do have love.
Yeah.
It's just that
Just us two.
just me and Scott who dislike. Well, not dislike. I
No,
still
no,
like. I like it.
Dislikes
I mean, it's still
Yeah,
a pretty
just-
healthy score for it.
Yeah, exactly. But we have that on the lower end, and then we have Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice on our number one film,
which everyone hates. So
we like to be the contrarians on here, so that's what we're all about.
Hey, this is the thing though. Don't listen to what other people say. You like what you want to like. That's the thing.
Oh, we don't. Don't worry about that.
Exactly.
We never do. We don't care.
Especially when it comes to DC, because everyone will try and tell you how you're supposed to feel about it, which is not the way that fandom works.
Exactly that. Thank you, Neil. Thank you for backing up our our love.
That goes for Scream too.
Right, so that is Warworld, and this actually you get a little preview before everyone else, Neil, before it's actually released.
Do you know, I'm so excited for this next season. I can't even control myself.
Yeah, this is what we're going to do on our next season, and our next season is called Cackles and Capes. And we are doing the lead up to the release of Joker Folie à Deux, and we're doing a whole season on the Joker. And we're going to be tackling Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker from 2000. The
director's cut?
Oh, I didn't even know there was a director's cut.
Oh my god, you have to watch the director's cut. The director's cut is so much more violent and has blood.
Oh, well, there you go.
Oh, I'm down for that one then.
Let's do that then. I didn't even know. I don't even know if I watched the director's cut. I just watched it.
Okay. I'm completely just going to take over at the end of this podcast now. What happens to Robin in the flashback sequences?
Oh, shit. He's taking his headphone out. Scott's taking his headphone out. Oh. I have no memory. I watched this so long ago, Neil. I have no memory.
There are two very, very different sequences. One is very sanitized. The other is fairly graphic.
Okay. We need to watch the graphic one. There's no spoilers here, Scott. You can put your headphone back in.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm 100% going to seek out the director's cut. Definitely. That's good.
It's really easy to find, so enjoy.
Wicked. So that is our first film. That's what's coming for Cackles and Capes season. And then it goes to The Dark Knight from 2008. Is this season going to get any better? Who knows? We're going to Batman Under the Red Hood from 2010, then on to Batman: The Killing Joke from 2016, Joker from 2019, and then finally Joker Folie à Deux from 2024. It's going to be a fucking amazing season, this.
It is.
I can't wait.
Can't wait.
That's brilliant.
Cannot bloody wait. But that's what you got to look forward to, everyone. And other than that, I just want to say a massive thank you to Neil for joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's been bloody wonderful. You want to plug anything here? You want to plug something?
What?
No. Listen, in the podcasting world, you should know what it means to plug something, Scott. We're not getting to it. We haven't got your dirty mind, boy.
Excuse me. In the last episode, we were talking about Neil fucking Batman.
So. Oh yeah, we haven't confronted that. At the end of the last episode, I said I think Neil loves fucking Batman. Loves fucking Batman, as in like he loves fucking Batman.
Right? I haven't had a chance to listen to that one yet. I look forward to that.
So we were going to ask you whether you would like fucking Batman or not. Batman,
no, that's against my religion.
We can assume, Neil. So other than that, would you like to plug any promotional stuff on this podcast?
I'm trying to think what I got going on at the moment. So just dropped my review of Blink Twice, which is a film I really recommend people go and check out. It's Zoe Kravitz, who was Catwoman in The Batman. It's her feature directorial debut, and it seems like it's flying a little bit under the radar. So definitely recommend, if you are on the fence of going to see that, go read my thoughts on it and go check that out. What else we got going on at the moment? Actually,
Channing Tatum, right?
Yeah, Channing Tatum. Should probably plug the fact that I finally dropped all of my interviews from San Diego Comic-Con. I got to speak to some really, really awesome comic book people, and go watch those interviews if you are interested in what's happening in the world of DC Comics right now.
Absolutely. Love seeing all your stuff in Comic-Con.
Neil went to some good parties.
I did go to some very interesting parties. Some very weird, how did my life choices end up with me on this rooftop watching Jason Derulo moments in my life.
You mean you don't do that all the time?
No. Funnily enough, I do not spend my life on... I mean, if I was Batman, I'd spend my life on rooftops, but not watching Jason Derulo.
Well... regardless, we love seeing it, Neil. It's always great. Where can people find you, Neil?
So if you are interested in following me, you can find me on all social media platforms. I'm at Neil Vagg, which is Vagg.
Beautiful. That's it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Neil.
Thank you, Neil.
That was a wonderful episode, and I guess we see you next time on Cackles and Capes.
Cackles and Capes. I love it.
Yeah.